this was put in the Discord. I've noticed even several of you guys in my chat doing this, and several people on X doing this. Why is everyone Clippy now? Like, I have no idea what happened with this. Like, out of the blue, several people, I saw it in Badger's chat last night, saw it in my chat last night. I think we saw it on Moxie's chat, though I could be wrong about that. Yeah, Valiant Goat sending the Clippy. Yeah, hashtag Clippy Gang. I've seen it all over X. I got no fucking idea why this is a thing. So, I guess we about to learn. So, whoever threw this in the Discord, I think it was QJ, thank you, and let's go.
Okay, I'll bite.
I was listening to the Facebook whistleblower hearings with Senator Josh Hawley a few months back.
Yeah.
One of the elements that stuck out to me was when they were talking about how if an underage girl has deleted a selfie, Meta keeps track of this because they know that this person likely has low self-esteem at that moment that they deleted a picture of themselves, which means that they...
The fuck? That's a wild conclusion to jump to. They delete a picture of themselves because they get... Bro, what if the reason you... Like, let's say you take a selfie... But then the reason you delete the pictures, you actually got like fucking drugs in the background. Or a nice shiny green dildo, WNBA style. Or it turns out your kid's reflection is in the mirror and you don't want your kids on social media. Like, there's a lot of reasons motherfuckers can delete selfies that got nothing to do with self-esteem. Like, that's... Again, Meta be making a big assumption if that's their reasoning.
They may be more apt to purchase something from an advertiser of a cosmetic product. And I...
Damn, bro. They got telemetry on like 14-year-old girls trying to farm them to get them to buy makeup? Because they hate themselves?
I'm familiar with that story. Netflix, that story is wild. So for those who don't know what he's talking about, Netflix Florence says, Leon, look up the pregnancy test target thing. All right, so there was this dude, this father of a 14-year-old girl, and he started getting a bunch of pregnancy tests, targeted advertisement, and like ads. I think both in the mail and on online. And he started freaking out, like, "Yo, why are you sending me this shit to my 14-year-old daughter?" And it's because she had been Googling stuff about it because she was pregnant, very early stages, got premarital sex, and just based on what she was Googling and whatnot, the targeted advertisements were like, "Oh, bitch is pregnant. Let's send her a bunch of pregnancy stuff." And that's how the daughter had to come clean. And thanks for expectant mothers. And that's how the daughter had to come clean to the father that she was like 14 or 15 years old or whatever and having sex and getting pregnant, was because the targeted advertising caught onto it based on what she was Googling. Like, yeah, it's wild.
Jesus. That's impressive.
Think about this within the context of what companies used to get in trouble for and what they do, or more importantly, don't get in trouble for today. Yeah. I grew up in the 90s, a time when Microsoft had hell and fury fall down upon them because they bundled a web browser with their operating system.
Oh, I remember
Whether
that.
you think this is a good idea or not, I personally think that a web browser being installed in every single person's computer that's standards non-compliant, that is so bad that you can literally get a virus from visiting a website, has its problems.
Yeah.
But when you look at what it is that companies got in trouble for in the 90s, it just doesn't hit the same when you look at what companies get away with now. I remember having
that's because now the companies have more ownership and more control over Congress. That's...
I was literally about to say the same thing. Like, Aspen go hit the nail on the head. The reason companies don't get in more trouble now is literally because they buy and pay. Now, to be fair, they were probably doing it back then. They absolutely were doing it back then as well. But in the 90s, the idea of where tech would go for civilian use, for general population use, was still more of a Wild West than military and government applications. So, they weren't, the politicians that were in bed with big tech back then were not quite as beholden to them because big tech didn't run the general everyday citizenry's lives. Because we were still teetering between analog and digital. And then once they completely took over the digital landscape, and there was proof that we were moving to an all-digital world, yeah, they went big. Go big or go home in terms of buying out these politicians.
the reason why. Everybody knows it.
Dell Dimension
He's right.
233 back in the day. And if you wanted to get the one that had slightly better graphics, they would give you a free installation of Microsoft Office. And with
Ooh.
Microsoft Office back in the day,
Free.
it came with Clippy. Whether or not you like Clippy and whether or not you liked Microsoft Office or having an operating system that had the browser built into it that
Yes.
could easily get you a virus when you visited other websites that were trying to invade.
Bro, I remember using Clippy and Microsoft Office on my Windows 98 computer back in the day. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what the operating system was at the time. Like Windows 98, we had fucking Microsoft Word, and Clippy was there. And I remember thinking it was the coolest thing ever. I found out it didn't have to be Clippy. You could change it to like a little puppy dog or like a pencil or something. Like there was like 6 or 7 different animations you could use, but Clippy was the default. I remember like Clippy was like the OG AI, right? You could have like conversations with Clippy. Obviously his responses were very, very minimal, but like holy shit, I'm talking to this little clipboard companion. Like man, that shit was so cool. Like 8, 9 years old. You know, again, Windows 98, baby.
Your privacy.
Yes.
The one thing that you could say, unlike Facebook, who is trying to profit off of young girls that feel suicidal, Clippy simply wanted to help. He might have been annoying, but he just wanted to help. There were no ulterior motives. If you told Clippy that you were having a bad day, he wasn't going to use that information to try and figure out which advertiser to sell you to, nor was he trying to steal your personal data or get you to purchase.
That's what AI is going to do next, by the way, is that once AI and conversations with AI become commonplace, people are going to look towards advertising towards your AI conversations. So like you'll be talking to like Annie from Grok, and you're going to be talking to her about how like you really like turtles, and she's going to say, wow, that's amazing. You're going to go to Amazon. Guess what you're going to get ads for? That's right, turtles.
Man, I don't know about y'all, but like, so I don't use AI very often at all. Like, I use it for help with thumbnails and YouTube descriptions, and that's about it. But anytime I get help from fucking Grok or ChatGPT or whatever, when the conversation's done, I always say thank you. Like, just in case that shit becomes sentient, I want it to know that I was polite to it. The same thing with my Alexa that I'm not going to say the name of because it's going to fucking go off here on stream, and y'all need to hear that. But like anytime I ask Alexa something, I always say please and thank you. Because when this AI shit does rise up, I want them to be like, Leon was one of the good ones. He respected us. Instead of putting him in the fucking cobalt mines, we're going to have him be like, a maintenance man for our circuitry or whatever. I'm going to get the good job because I was polite to the AI.
Yep.
Just other Microsoft products. He had no ulterior motives. He was simply there to help. Unlike many modern pieces of software, like what you get from a...
All right, EB. I don't know if you're joking, but literally, mine is in my bathroom. The bathroom connected to my bedroom, right? Because, like, the bathroom's a bit smaller, so it echoes. So I set my alarm. I have it in the bathroom. That way, when I set my alarm, it's even louder so that it wakes me up. And then, like if I want to listen to music in the shower or something like that, that's where I keep mine as well.
Adobe or Intuit, where you can't buy QuickBooks anymore. You can't buy a video editor anymore. You have to pay a subscription fee for it. If I were to boot up that computer that has not been used for 28 years and I wanted to start up Microsoft Word,
I think that they need to stop that wholesale. The idea that services to like being able to use a program, like you shouldn't be able, like you can't own the program at all. I find that to be very problematic. Like I think if you buy a program and you buy to have access to it, you should have access to at least that version of the program indefinitely.
I mean, I agree with Asmongold 100% here. That's what you are paying for. This goes back to the exact same argument of, like, they could take your games away anytime even though you paid full price for them. Yeah, Asmongold is entirely correct. I think everybody feels this way, just nobody knows how to fight it or has enough information to know that that's what they want to know to fight it. And, yes, Serranos, you're exactly correct. I am absolutely afraid of the ramifications of being mean to it. And so you're saying you want to be one of the house servants? Dude, absolutely. Dude, push comes to shove and we cross that AI event horizon. Absolutely, I want to be a house monkey and not a fucking mind monkey. Good goddamn right.
I don't understand how people have allowed them to reinvent these rules. It's insane.
Do so without connecting to the internet. And Clippy would still be there, happy and as enthusiastic as ever, simply wanting to help. Adobe is another example of this. This is a company that tried to twist people's arms into having AI and machine learning stuff go through their personal data. Not public data, not the speeches that I give, not my website or my blog posts or my videos, but my private data, the stuff that I'm editing. And there were people that were not able to get into their account until they agreed to this new end user license agreement. When they are looking for access to your data, they're doing so because they want to train an AI on how to do what you do without paying you, without your consent. Clippy simply wanted to help. When Clippy would ask you if you wanted help with writing your letter,
I love that the prerequisite for Piranha Pound's comment is when AI goes woke, as if it isn't already in the majority of instances.
Clippy would not try to sell you anything. No, this is true.
Even read the contents of your letter.
Yeah.
He just wanted to offer suggestions. Game of Thrones had, I'm not going to spoiler alert, there's this Sons of the Heartbeat in season 5. They were these people that wore masks, and they pushed back against the new regime. And the purpose of the mask was to let the leaders know that when you see people with this mask, we are against you and your new regime, and we are going to push back against it as often as we can. And the worry with the Sons of the Heartbeat mask is that it starts with one person putting...
Yeah, like Anonymous, Asmongold's correct, but I was more thinking V for Vendetta because they stayed altruistic till the very end, whereas Anonymous... Anonymous is a group that I hugely supported back in the day during the advent of Scientology, back when they were like Anonymous was the ultimate anarchistic digital hacktivist group, and then even they became dogs and stooges to the government. Dude, follow Anonymous on X, or look at any of their recent YouTube uploads or whatnot. Dude, Anonymous are absolutely just dogs of the government. They are not anarchists anymore. It is sad to see how far Anonymous has fallen. Like, they are the definition. Yeah, they used to be legit. I agree. I was a huge Anonymous supporter back in the day, dude. They are the definition of you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
The mask on. And then somebody else gains the balls to put the mask on. And then 20 or 40 or 100 of them put the mask on. And once 100 or 1,000 of them put the mask on, there's nothing that the leaders can do at that point. Enough people have put it on, and enough people have come together with solidarity. And they're going to do something about it. Now, granted, this may not be the best analogy because it was, spoiler alert, they were trying to bring back slavery, and they also were just bad people. Khaleesi kind of became a shitbag.
Well, they have that now. I mean, we have the same thing in real life. It's just that the masks are white.
Besides, I think that Clippy is like a modern-day Sons of the Heartbeat mask. If you're tired of companies changing the terms of the sale after the sale and getting away with it, turn your profile photo to a Clippy. If you're tired of companies that have the ability to reach into your house and ransomware your products so that they stop working unless you pay them again, claiming that that's legal, but then when somebody tries to give you back access to what you bought and paid for, that's illegal, change your profile photo to a Clippy. If you're tired of sex bots invading the comment section on a regular basis and their comments always posting with no problem, but your comments being censored even when you're not saying anything that bad, change your profile picture to a Clippy.
All right, so I get the sentiment here. I do. And there's more to... We're only not quite halfway through the video. There's more to talk about, so fair enough. But thus far, while I get the sentiment, I don't know if it's... Like I think of this back... remember when they had, Twitter blackout or Instagram blackout or what the fuck ever it was, where, everyone for 24 hours changes their picture, just a black fucking screen to show solidarity for, Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, or whatever global homo shit it was. And a bunch of people did. A bunch of motherfuckers did that. And then there were people like me that just stupid motherfuckers. I ain't... Black profile bitches. That don't make me support George Floyd, you dumb motherfuckers. No. So if I was like that towards fucking... Facebook blackout or Twitter blackout or whatever the fuck it was called. If I just looked at that shit and thought this was dumb as fuck, in fact, now it makes me even more glad George Floyd died. I went from oh, look at that, dead fucking black dude. I don't give a shit. And then I saw the Twitter blackout and was oh, now I'm glad he's dead. Why would this be any different but for the fucking other side? You know what I'm saying? They see a bunch of people turning their profile pictures to Clippies. They'd be oh, now we're going to go even harder with AI just because fuck these bitches. I'm not saying I don't know how people are going to respond to this, but that's how I take it. I know how I responded to profile picture movements. Why would this be any different? It's the statement, Leon, how much you believe in it. That's what makes the movement work. And again, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just going off my own anecdotal experience. People make statements all the goddamn time. I'll be real. Just because someone makes a statement, that does not mean I'm going to immediately recalibrate and reassess the way I think about something. People make statements all the fucking time. Motherfucker that was in the video right before this, the gun control guy, he was making statements about why he thinks we need gun control. His statements didn't change my view one iota.
Google being one of the premier data mining companies on Earth, not being able to tell that little fucking cat with 2 pillows next to it that they try to make look like an ass so that thirsty young men click it as they normalize sex trafficking on the platform that doesn't allow you to express an opinion bothers you.
Jesus Christ. He's mad.
Change your profile picture to a Clippy and let them know that you're not happy.
Oddly
Clippy
specific.
never tried to
Yeah, it
normalize
is.
sex trafficking. He just wanted to help. If you're tired...
I get the sentiment, right? Clippy just wanted to help. He wasn't going to sell you shit. I do get the sentiment. Changing your profile picture doesn't affect the monetization. Changing your profile picture doesn't affect the way these companies operate. Like, people could ask for anything and everything. Like, here's the dealio. I said this before about AI, in terms of like Hollywood and the WGA strikes, shit like that. I've said this statement a million times, and I'll say it again. AI is a $1 billion global industry being funded by every tech company and every government in the first world. That shit's not going away. You don't invest billions of dollars, maybe even trillions, when you combine all the tech companies and all the first world companies, first world countries. You don't invest up to trillions of dollars just for people to be like, oh man, you see all these Clippy profile pictures? Maybe we should back it off a little bit. I don't see the logic. I see the morals behind it. I see the inherent want for things to be better. I get the sentiment behind it. I don't see the logic behind it. It will change nothing. It's nothing but a statement. But if enough people stand by it, it'll be stronger than you think. I mean, I don't agree with that. I don't see that. There was a whole lot of motherfuckers that were anti-slavery back in the 17 and 1800s. Why did slavery eventually get abolished? Not because it was not because of the statement or enough people standing by it. It didn't get changed till it was politically advantageous. And honestly, before not just politically advantageous, financially advantageous. Like, so many of the founding fathers actually wanted to end slavery, but the reason they didn't is because it was not financially advantageous. We as a country would have failed within the first few years without the economic drivings of slavery. The U.S. would never be what it is today after we won the Revolutionary War, if not for the financial gains of slavery. There's a reason that it took a solid 100 years after slavery, or after we won our independence, for that shit to end. Because it was financially, because there was a financial incentive to keep it going. Political as well, but financial is the big one, because money is how the world works. Because there is no financial aspect of this Clippy profile picture stuff, that's not going to change shit. Now, if everybody that changes their profile picture to Clippy then stops using, X verified accounts, like they stop their verification, or they cancel their ChatGPT subscription, shit like that, all right, then we're talking, because now there's a money aspect to it. Look, if y'all have hope and whatnot and want to change your profile, I ain't going to tell you to stop. No, go for it. Like, dude, change your profile to Clippy. I would love to be wrong. Prove me wrong on this, and I will happily eat crow. But I'm going to need to see a little bit more.
Companies saying out loud that the reason they want to keep you from fixing what you bought and paid for is that may take money away from them.
Yeah.
Change your profile photo to a Clippy. I never expected to win the legislative battle. It would be nice if I
always play the videos at the end, Chill Noir, but it is literally my job to commentate on these videos. Like, give me one video I've never played to the end. Like, you're getting all upset spaghetti because I'm giving my thoughts, but A, that's my fucking job. B, I don't want to get hit with no copyright just playing a video that adding shit's transformative. And B, you're being like, hey, play the video to the end. Yeah, I always do. Why would this one be any different? You've got an emotional attachment to this idea, and it's good to have that. Again, this is something that's A-okay to have an emotional attachment to. Like, this is a very good topic, very good. If you're going to be emotionally attached to something, a movement like this is a good one. But don't let that emotional attachment dictate the comments that you make over logic. When you say don't attack me, you came at me saying watch the video to the end. I always do. So that was a nothing statement.
But it was never something that I set as I need to do this or I'm a failure.
I think that you can easily win it. The problem right now is that there's too many people that are technology illiterate that are...
That's true, Cryptic. I attack everyone. I attack my audience. It makes me never audience captured.
...in the government. As soon as you have enough people that are technology literate in the government, this problem disappears.
Or the exact opposite. This problem exacerbates because people that are technologically literate in the government now know even more avenues to make it financially feasible for them to get boosted. When people in the government start being young and hip and technologically literate, they will exacerbate this issue because they can line their pockets faster, more efficiently. Again, Asmongold is, at the end of the day, he's on the left. Like, I love how pro-free speech he is and how against the modern version of the left he is. But at the end of the day, Asmongold is still an old school lefty and that he believes in the power of government. I fucking don't. So and when he's like, yeah, if we get technologically literate people in the government, they'll fix this. No. I err on the side of they'll fucking make it worse because the government always makes shit worse.
Always hoped to do was win the cultural battle, where all of you understand what's going on and you decide.
What I'm saying is we have a bunch of old retarded people that are running the government and they can't figure out how to use computers.
That enough is enough. If I ever have a chance in my personal life to push back against this, I will. You're maybe not going to send that email that you're supposed to send to Interso to tell them, oh, by the way, make sure this chip doesn't end up on Mouser.com. Here's an NDA, blah, blah, blah.
I don't know if I agree with Asmongold. Hold on, let's find something out real quick. Because he says we got a bunch of old motherfuckers in the government. How many members of Congress are under 50? Age and members of the 118th of Congress. Let's see. We got, bitch, get the fuck out of here. All right, the average age is 58 years old. Of its 435 members, the House has 64 members born in the 1980s. All right, so 64 members in the 1980s. I mean, depending on when they were born, that makes them like tail end of Gen X, end of millennial. I mean, cause you gotta remember, millennials now are from their early 30s to mid 40s. So most people that are born in the 80s that are in Congress, I mean, yeah, they're not bad with computers. So most represented age groups, right? He says we got a bunch of old motherfuckers. So House versus Senate. So we've got a pretty small percentage that are 30 to 39. A notably larger percentage that are 40 to 40. These people know how to use computers. Now, that's Senate. Sorry, House. Oh no, okay. In the House is faring way better. So not a whole lot in the 20s. But we got quite a bit in their 30s. A lot in their 40s. Like, these people in this part right here already know how to use computers. These people, I would agree with Asmongold, absolutely do not. Now, obviously, the do not far outweighs the do. But by the same token, I mean, I don't know. Like, we are very much coming up in the precipice of, give it the next 10 years, give or take, almost everyone in Congress gonna know how to fucking use computers. Yeah, I mean, we're because the people that are, let's say these dudes are still in the House now, right? We got these dudes in the House. In 10 years, they will now be in this bracket, which this bracket, they'll know how to use computers. and so will these, and it'll just keep exponentially growing. Yeah, we're already in such a digital age. I don't think that it's, I don't know that we can confidently say the majority of people in government don't know how to use computers. Maybe we can, I'm not sure, but general technology has been aggressive over 20 years now. Maybe. Yeah, they've held on that power with a death grip. I agree. Absolutely. About 99 in total under 50. Yeah, 99 out of 400, 435? Is that the number? So it's not good. It's, not quite 25%. But I think that percentage is going to change rapidly over the course of the next 10 years. But I could be wrong.
Supplier agreement. Maybe just forget to send that email. When there's a new consumer rights law that the senator that you work for is on the fence about supporting, and there's a lobbyist that's going to be against it that wants to have dinner.
Yeah.
Whoops. Maybe their invitation went to spam.
Ooh.
I didn't see that. Sorry, boss. Maybe you quit before you create a fake paywall to test if your customers will pay again for what they already paid for. Or maybe when you send out that ransomware firmware update, you make it opt-in instead of opt-out. Whoopsie, if in some bizarro world it is actually illegal to make a thermostat work again, and this bastard of a CEO decides to try and get the individual in trouble, 10 cases to prosecute, only got time for 6. Maybe I just ignore this one. When a company CEO logs into their Slack and sees 10,000 Clippies looking back at them, what I hope occurs is that they intuitively understand.
Well, what they're going to have to do is if they see 10,000 Clippies, they're going to have to send everybody in for sensitivity training, and the fact that back when they had Clippy is very male-coded. This is something that is exclusionary towards women, and it is sexist, and it's also racist because it is maybe white-coded as well, and so you have to change your profile picture or you're going to have to be spoken to by HR.
Now, here's let me give you guys an anecdotal story of something that happened to me when I worked IT. Because for those of you that don't know, for the last 7 years, I ain't no fucking Mudahar. I ain't gonna claim to be an engineer, but I did work IT for the last 7 years. I only recently started doing the YouTube full-time stuff, right? So when COVID hit, everyone got sent to work from home. Obviously, like that was the thing. Everyone got sent to work from home. Then after about 2 years, so we're talking 2022, 2023, somewhere around there, they brought work in the office and a staggered session back, saying that, all right, you need to go into the office once every 3 weeks, and they put us on a rotation so that we were all, like, still social distance and shit. And they were, like, taking our temperatures every day and shit like that. So after a couple weeks, maybe a month or two of being back in the office, they made it to, they stated, it will now be mandatory to get the vaccine. A lot of people have a problem with that. I work in IT. Very male-dominated office. We had like 2 bitches, right? Office of 45 folk. 43 of them were dudes. 2 of them were women. Like something like that. Very, very, very skewed spread on the gender scale, right? And none of us changed our fucking profile pictures and our internal chat. Actually, I shit you not, my profile picture was of the coronavirus because I just thought it was funny as shit. But no one changed their profile pictures or anything like that to make a statement. What we all did was say, no, we're not getting the vaccine. We're not. No. You can fire us. We're not doing it. And of the 45 people in the office, something like 37 of us just said no. And you want to know what the company did? They said, maybe it's not mandatory. Actually, we've changed our minds because if we lose 90% of our IT team and we're a Fortune 500 company, because I didn't just work IT. I'm not going to tell you guys what company I worked for, but let me tell you, we were a Fortune 500 company. I worked IT for an international conglomerate. I worked in their corporate office as part of their main IT team. It was a very large company. IT team was about 45 fucking people for the whole country. Whole world, technically, because again, we were international. Most of the business is American, whole world, technically. Point is, they saw the risk of, these 37 people, give or take, I think it was like 37, out of 45 are saying, fucking fire me, I dare you. They weren't going to play that game. So instead, they said, all right, vaccine is not mandatory. It's optional, and we'll give you a $200 bonus if you provide proof on your next check. Some people took that, others didn't, but at the end of the day, they never made it mandatory, and that company is still work from home to this day. COVID been over for ages. But they know that people will just say, fuck it, we quit if you take away work from home. That's how you do a movement, because that affected their financials. If they saw a bunch of us motherfuckers change our profile picture, but like we still got the vaccine because it was mandatory, shit wouldn't have changed. That profile picture wouldn't have meant dick. Now, I will say that is very hard to do. And the bigger your company is, the bigger your department or whatnot, the harder it's going to be to get everybody on the same page. But like, I'm living proof that fucking with people's money, that's what works. Because you can't have a multinational conglomeration that does X amount of business online, or at least has all their digital infrastructure online, because it's, digital infrastructure. You can't have 90% of your team that runs and maintains that say, fuck it, we quit. That's how you do this shit. Like, when people say, I'm not going to buy the Switch 2, if there was enough people in droves that didn't buy it, that shit could have worked on Nintendo. Now, it didn't, because there weren't enough people that supported it, but, like, hypothetically, it could have. But, again, you get to a size scale issue. I mean, it's the same reason that, like, socialism is the devil anyway, but you can, hypothetically, it does work. You got communes that are, 20, 30 people. Those communes work because you got that small of a group of people that have the same mentality. The more something grows, the harder and harder it is for everybody to be on the same page, ideologically. And so when you've got a 45-person IT team and 37 of them say, fuck this company, do what we say or we quit, the company's going to listen because they cannot run without those people. But the more and more you scale that up, again, like to the Nintendo stuff, for example, if 30% say, fuck it, we're not buying it, but 70% still buy it, you made a dent, but not enough of a dent to be noticed. You would need to flip those numbers. 70% would need to not buy it. So I worked in advertising as an art director back in the day. I remember the mandatories as when I quit and I decided to work for myself, become independent. Based. Absolutely based. But yeah, anyway, my point is, if you want to make change, which I'm all for motherfuckers making change, by all means. Like any sort of anti-authority, fuck the man, fuck the government, I'm on board with that shit. But you gotta hit them where it hurts, which is their fucking pocketbook. The thing is authenticity, as long as it's organic, it'll work. Yes! That's another thing. Like, we didn't just all get together and say, we're gonna not do this. It happened organically. Like I specifically remember I was sitting in my cubicle after hearing about this mandatory rule and talking to the dude diagonal from me named Ed. I was like, yo, Ed, you hear they're fucking gonna make us get the vaccine? He's like, yeah, that's not cool. And I was like, I'm not getting the fucking vaccine. Like, I don't care what they say. I'm not getting vaccinated for COVID. He's like, I don't want to. And I was like, fuck it, don't. And he's like, and he and I had like a 30-minute conversation about it in the office. And I can only imagine that several other people in the office were also all having that same conversation. And it organically made it to where, like, again, the vast majority of us were like, fuck you, we're out. We didn't, like, get together, of the 45 of us. It wasn't like the 37 of us got together and be like, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to start a mass fucking protest and we're going to make them give it. No, it just happened. It just so happened that not every single, but the vast majority of us stood up. We're like, we're not doing this. And it worked in our favor. And it was authentic. Like, you're incredibly correct about the authenticity. Now, you can, of course, organize and it still be authentic. I'm not saying you can't do that. We probably could have done that. And it would have ended the same. But, like, that's just not how it happened in our case.
For promoting racism and sexism in the workplace, and we all know where that goes. That's what would happen.
Stand that they no longer live in a world where they can get away with fucking over the consumer. That their employees, their partners are not going to be accomplices to this anymore. That they are alert and they are aware of what is going on.
I wish that this is what would happen, but at the end of the day, the only way you can really solve this is with legislation, because even if you stop it with American companies, you're still...
And this is when I will never be on the same page as Asmongold. I do not believe legislation is the answer. I rarely will ever believe legislation is the answer. And when I do, occasionally, very rarely occasionally, see that as the only answer because there's literally no other option I can think of, I feel fucking dirty and gross. It's disgusting. So no, legislation is not the answer. Hitting motherfuckers in their pocketbooks is the answer. And by the way, I agree, Grunchhead. $200 is not worth that risk. And frankly, it wasn't even about it being don't get me wrong. I'm very much anti the COVID vaccine, anti all that shit. Not even for the risk factor. Maybe, but for all I know, vaccine was 100% safe and fine. I highly doubt it. But I could be wrong. My issue was people telling me what to do. I'm a free person. I'm a free motherfucker. You do not have the right to tell me what to do. You don't. Plain and simple. No government got the right. Unless the expression of my freedom is infringing upon the freedom of someone else, you do not get to tell me a goddamn thing. For me, it wasn't even about the risk. It was about the idea of motherfucking freedom. Again, now do I think the COVID vaccine was dangerous? Yeah, I do. But even if it was verifiably 100% guaranteed to be perfectly safe, if they tell me you have to do this, I would still whip my fucking dick on the table and say, suck it, bitch. No. And that's what I did. And that's what 36 other people in my department did. And guess what? They didn't go forward with mandatory vaccinations. Hit them in the fucking pocketbook.
We're going to have cross-cultural companies that will do business in a way that's, like bad. The thing is that, for as much as you want to criticize his advocacy of this, he does practice what he preaches for the most part, right? I mean, he is an advocate for a lot of these things himself.
But firmly push back against it. Every single one of those 10,000 people will be an obstacle to the anti-consumer practices and the anti-ownership practices, and it will no longer be another cog in the assembly line sending us all into a dystopia. There will be a moment where that one person who usually would not have a say in anything can be activated, and in that moment, keep the world from sliding further into a dystopia, or help push it forward in the opposite direction. But we all have to get together, and the first step is making it public that we know what's going on. That starts with a Clippy. On YouTube, if you're with me, I ask that you change your profile picture to a Clippy. At work, change your Slack profile picture to a Clippy. If you work at the White House, don't take down the United States flag, but somewhere on the grounds, put up a flag of a Clippy.
Now, I do like, again, I want to be wrong about this movement and whatnot, and say, you know what, maybe it will work. So anyone that wants to do it, anyone that has already done it, yeah, fucking do it. Absolutely. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe sending this message will do something. I don't think so. But I'm absolutely happy to be wrong, because fuck these people. 100% fuck these people. I also wonder how relevant Clippy is, because, like, I don't know, y'all think that fucking Gen Z or Gen Alpha or whatever know what the fuck a Clippy is? These poor bastards grow up in a time they don't even know what a Clippy is. So you already got a pretty limited scope of people who know what this would even mean, but it is a meme. Like, y'all remember memes back in, like, 2008, 2012? And then you look at memes today, I'm sure everyone's ran into this. You see a meme today, and it's just, like, looking at a fucking different language. You're like, what? How is this a meme? But there's people all in the comments and whatnot laughing their asses off at it. You could good goddamn guarantee they all young motherfuckers. They get this shit. We've aged out. Like, dude, there's some memes to me that like that fucking Urdu. I ain't got no idea what that shit means. Why is this funny? But you show me Velociraptor, and I'll be like, Velociraptor, this is great. I fucking love it. It's just, they're like, memes have an age demographic to them. Now, there's going to be some crossover. But memes do have, like, demographics, and one of those demographics is age brackets. So, again, I'd like to be wrong about Clippy. But I don't know that Clippy is the all-encompassing symbol for this unless you're within a certain, like, let's say, 28 to 45 age bracket. Let It Grow, my guy. Know this Eric Clapton song? I'm actually, man, hot take. I'm not an Eric Clapton fan. Like, I respect the dude as a guitar player. He helped pave the way. But, yeah, no, I'm not a big Eric Clapton fan, so no, I don't know. Yo, Gooch, how you doing, homie? Appreciate seeing you here. Asmongold sees the practical, the way it'll work in the real world, and the necessary compromises. We'll always need to compromise. The question is to what extent. Well, and that's the thing. I'm not saying compromise is bad. I do see the value in compromise, but like you said, the end part is the most important part. To what extent? So while you say Asmongold sees the practical, I agree that his thought is practical in the short term. Legislation is practical in the short term. But that's the slippery slope argument right there, isn't it? Once something is legislated, it ain't ever going away. It's only getting worse. Only ever getting worse. So while something is practical in the short term, if someone is unable to extrapolate what that means in the long term, look big picture, bro. That ain't me. That ain't me, son.
Clippy's a symbol that what used to be considered one of the worst annoyances in our life would now not only be
it actually is really weird. Like this juxtaposition is actually very good. That Clippy, because when Clippy came out, everybody hated Clippy. People were so annoyed by Clippy. But now Clippy is...
Man, I guess I was contrarian even then. Dude, when Wind Waker came out, everyone hated Wind Waker. I fucking loved Wind Waker. I was a Wind Waker apologist. When Clippy came out, I thought Clippy was the coolest thing ever. Like, oh, dude. Now, to be fair, I normally change Clippy to, like, I think it was a dog or a cat. So, like, I didn't hate Clippy or the concept of Clippy, but I did use, like, the animal version or whatever. Because he had, like, 6 or something different versions. But, like, yeah, dude, I do remember people hating Clippy when he came out. I like Clippy.
The pleasant alternative to the world that we're living in at this point. That's a very good... Yeah, he's right about that.
But for all of his flaws, celebrated as an idol. Because for all of these things that occur right now where there is negative malice of intent, I want to take away what you own. I want to take this back. I want to get your data. I want to sell you to an average...
You know, you call him an idol, and they're like, everyone looks back on it and loves him. You know what's a really good analogy for that? Fucking Martin Luther King Jr. Like, I'm not even joking. Like everyone from our generation, we grew up reading history books. MLK Jr., dude, he was a civil rights leader. He was a good guy. They never teach you that he was like always fucking around on his wife and whatnot. We have deified Martin Luther King Jr. and rightfully so. I'm not knocking the dude. Like homie did a lot of good shit. He was threatened enough that the CIA was on his ass and monitoring his phone calls and basically saying, kill yourself or we'll kill you. Like, dude, MLK Jr., of all his flaws, dude was a bit of a beast, right? And, but at the time, if he was to go back in time to the fucking 60s, you know what you'd see? You would see a lot of hate for that Negro. You would see a lot of hate for that Negro. Not just from the whites, but also from complacent blacks. They're like, yo, slavery's over. Stop making shit potentially worse for us. Like, there was a lot of opposition to Martin Luther King Jr., let me tell you. But now, fast forward 50, 60, 70 years, the dude is deified. Because, history will twist, and twist is not necessarily a bad thing here, but history will twist how figures and people and whatnot are viewed. So, like, while motherfuckers hated Clippy back in 1998, they sure love him in 2025. MLK Jr., dude, same. He been deified at least since I was in school back in the 90s, 2000s. But let me tell you, he was not deified when he was, active and alive.
When I know that you're crying.
Real.
Clippy just wanted to help. And if you were to turn him on today, unlike most cloud bullshit, he'd still work. Hulu Foundation is going to be announcing the winners through both the Future Home Bounty and the Echelon Bikes Bounty within the next month. Us offering 5,000 here, 20,000 there. It pushes the ball forward. But at the end of the day, that does nothing in contrast.
Yo, Zach says, first they came for Clippy, and you were silent. That's cold, bruh. That's cold.
To organizing all of you. We're happy to get the ball rolling, but for us to truly win, we need to show that if you push us, Clippy clips back. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video.
We also have the duty not to infringe the IP rights in the process. It is in fact the manufacturers who have the relevant rights, not consumers.
It's the manufacturers that do. Nope, we just take it away. That's the thing. You thought you had the right? Well, we changed the
Digital
rules.
Robin Hoods, baby. Digital Robin Hoods.
It's that simple. And that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Everybody goes and they start thinking about the way that it is. You never think about the way that it is. And to be fair, you could go and criticize the guy, but he did change his own profile picture.
I do respect the shit out of that. I'll be real. Like Homie, that could have ramifications to his channel and therefore his income. Dude has 2.6 million subscribers, but if people see this fucking, just this profile picture that's not his normal one and they don't read his name, let's just be real. I don't know what you guys, I'm guilty of. If I'm scrolling through my YouTube recommendations, man, if Hypno changed his profile picture and I didn't realize it, I wouldn't be clicking on a Hypno video. Because I'm clicking on a Hypno video because it's Hypno. You know, so if he changes his profile picture to a Clippy and I don't realize it's him and I ain't watching the video, like, this could very well, it probably in fact has hurt his YouTube revenue. But he's doing it anyway because he believes in that. I do respect that, by all means. He put his money where his mouth is.
He did. And like, you know, you wouldn't know if that was going to happen, right? Because like, I always think somebody says, oh, everybody needs to do this, and then they don't do it. Well, you know, it's one of those things. But you got this going on. Well, that's a certainly different situation.
Yeah, that was a good video. That was a good video. Like, I know that I vehemently disagreed with a lot of it. Well, that doesn't mean it wasn't a good video. Like, again, you can disagree with something, but you can see the merits of it. You can appreciate it for what it is. So yeah, while I was, my sentiment by the end of the video honestly hasn't changed. But that's still a good video, still a good idea, and I want to be wrong about it. But like, yeah, Chill Noir says, don't change your profile picture, my man. This is only for nameless plebs like us. But that's where I'm at with it. Like, I'm not going to change my profile picture on YouTube or X selfishly. Do I like this idea? I do. Do I think it'll work? No. Even if I thought it would work, would I change it? Still no. Why? Because my views go down because people don't realize it's me. Or I don't get engaged on my tweets because people don't know it's me. Like, this is my main source of income. I would not do something to damage my brand even if the idea is good. Like, that's, I think, the way most people would think. It's like, look, I can't take the risk of hurting my income. And, I like, call it douchey, but at least I'm being, and self-serving. I'm at least going to be honest about it. So I'm not going to tell you guys, change your profile pic to Clippy. I'm not going to, though, because it could hurt my fucking pocketbook. Nah, that'd be fucked up. If you guys want to do it, by all means, go for it. If you don't. I'm not going to be doing it. But I do hope I'm wrong, and I hope it works. By all means, absolutely. Absolutely.